Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one and only Master Propaganda Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland, off you to a 1v1 on road to Tunis. Northwest stands Xandr, fighting for the Deutsche Sache Corps here with the 20th, not 20th, but 10th Panzer Division here, ordered by German High Command to deal with the Allied advance under the command of Noob with the US 3rd Armored Division, trying to push the Germans into the Mediterranean. Here we got a Bessieri back start here, fairly standard DAK opening. Got though a Weasel start here from Noob with Spec Ops. So also noting there are not a lot of scouts here, which is actually getting a bit more common to see that the scout starts. Not C1 is actually a bit of a surprise. Back Russian officer encountering the Weasel here right away. Weasel, of course, for now is unupgraded, so we see Sand here going for disruptor play there to try and mess with his opponent's capturing order. In this case, getting very lucky his opponent has a Weasel rather than, say, a Jeep, or, you know, a scout team up there. For those wondering what was the Weasel, it was basically sort of a special vehicle meant for special operations units. It's like service transport, you know, it was a bit more all-terrain and sort of amphibious. Ironically, though, most of the special operations units didn't really like it, and it would kind of end up serving with infantry divisions who would use it sort of as a Jeep in places where the Jeep actually couldn't go. For example, like swampy terrain and such, the Weasel performed quite well and would be used, for example, as an ambulance and other things there. So it's one of those classic highlights of how, you know, how something might intend for one role, but ends up being used for another role entirely. And in fact, ends up being used for an entirely different type of unit than intended. So light sport complete, double Bessieri. Pretty standard opening out of Xandr for the DAK. Not one of the most wild here, which again is perfectly fine. Particularly with the DAK, which definitely always can struggle a bit unless they obviously overbuff its units. But there you go, Weasel rushing forward, triumphant attacking. We got a triple push here from Noob against Xandr. His falls up north in particular with the bike acting as the backbone. Are quickly forced away. They're unable to master the firepower to respond to the American assault here as Noob goes hard in for democracy. But at the same time, though, Xandr here very aggressively, very impulsively almost, goes for the fuel pump. So his opponent's basically using the Bessieri sprint ability to get in there. Thumbs up to Xandr. That was definitely very, very bold. Not something to see like that. And we got Noob here with the Mechanized Support Center. So this could likely indicate a fast Greyhound with canister shot here, which is something you see from towns out the USF. Still, infantry support center's most popular, and we got a fuel pump hit as well here. Absolute riveting action here, ruthless action. Proud squad number 3 in there for Noob. Panzer occupying the house here. More Italians out here for Xandr and the German army here. Italian troops in North Africa would typically be mixed in with German troops, as German High Command typically didn't trust them too much, so, you know, stay in position, they just left to their own devices. Little fun side note there. Up north here, the bike going for that fuel point. Weasel rushing in now. Heavily damaged, but Noob here believes in the power of American engineering and in German bikes not being that potent. In the center, right squad counter, Bessieri. Luigi there drops quite aggressively dead as he gets shot by the rifleman. South side, good push as well. Really fluid action across most of the map between Xandr and Noob. We got the ammunition there for Xandr as well. Weasel heavily damaged, is forced back here, needs to do some repairs. Of course, it can self-repair, which is a pretty big asset for any light vehicle, obviously. In particular, since this one, it's not a timed ability, it's just a passive. So, you know, you just park it somewhere to fix itself up. There's a pretty decent advantage of having on such an early game light vehicle. Bessieri bolsters, finding up extra men to stuff into the squads there. Xandr obviously shouting a bit at the Italians. Come on, you Italian scheissheads! Get this at times! Get this reserves! Of course, the German army was in many ways reliant on the Italians, including logistically. A lot of German troops received Italian supplies, much to their dismay, because apparently the Italian, you know, rations were not very good. And they apparently had some pretty nasty nicknames for the Italian field rations. Typically, Altamana Old Man, or Arsus Mussolini, or Mussolini's ass. So that gives you an idea as to what the Germans thought about Italian supplies there. Anyways, we've got mortars out here, so Nuke there. Also using the Weasel lead on weapons down there. Thumbs up. Mechanized support still going up. Mines in the center from Xandr. And of course, the German army, the good part of, again, the Italian campaign until I think Tunisia was also heavily reliant on Italian armor to do a lot of its work there because they just didn't have a lot of tanks. So they were heavily reliant on the Italian armor to do the work. So, another fun fact there. Anyways, we got a mechanized company for Xandr. Octards there, perhaps Marders. Not the typical move straight for the Panzer Company here. Motor pool for Noop, very much expected. Particularly since it's up against DAK, you always want like the motor pool there to like deal with anything they might have. But also if it's going to go mechanized, it might again be, you know, for the counter shot on the Greyhound, which can do a lot of damage to Xandr's infantry. In particular, since of course Xandr with a lot of Bestiary does have infantry, does not have anti-tank grenades. Not the Italians didn't have anti-tank grenades. In fact, they were quick to improvise them, even they didn't have them. Basically just grabbing a Molotov cocktail, but, you know, just using a grenade fuse in it. In fact, the Coastal Reserve troops have that. You know, it's a sort of more formalized design. But before that, essentially, just improvise it. And it's only just one of those ways, like, you know, just, again, how armies would improvise solutions they needed on the go. M8 Grenadier for Noob. Center there, we got the Weasel basic ground points here. Panzer's out to hunt down the mighty Weasel, but also probably anticipating a grenade out here for Noob. Xandr, of course, here stays one step ahead of the curve, which of course is part of a strategy game, is trying to anticipate your opponent's move and taking the most, you know, optimal response there from your perspective. And there you go again, trying for the northern field with the Weasel here, but Noob there, of course, with a bike, sorry that. Feeling just a wee bit tidy from the weather. Mortar fire hitting the right side inside the building there. Great move there by American mortar crews, living up to their reputation for accuracy. In the south here, Bezier awaiting the Riflemen to make a push. The Riflemen so far, of course, are unawares of the large squad of Italian troops there ready to start shooting at them. M8 Grand on the move, and there we go. We do get rearmament retrofit, so that, of course, means cancer shots here. He's going for the 50 cals. He's going for the armored side skirts. Though you'd probably figure the armored side skirts first, rather than the 50 cal, but then again, it's not anticipating the Panzerjägers. And obviously, you know, he's not going to get that first. So that actually is going to benefit there. Xandr again displays a bit there, just Xandr, you thinking slightly further out on the curve here. Also in this case, Noob prioritizing, of course, you know, absolutely removing his infantry, but again it means his ground is much more vulnerable to the Panzerjägers here. So right here we do see Noob there caught a bit in a bad position. Panzerjägers now to get out in time. Greyhound there to high risk getting knocked out. Can Noob escape with it? Looks like he nearly gets it, and he also gets a wipe up north here on Xandr. He's got two folks trying to take out the Greyhound. It allowed Noob to get a wipe elsewhere. Very good there, thumbs up. That's always one of the things you have to keep in mind of, like, you know, where's your tension? Because a smart opponent can then exploit your tension in one place elsewhere. And this is what basically Noob managed. You know, again, Xandr's two folks in the Greyhound. Noob struck elsewhere to, like, you know, leverage that. So, thumbs up. Grand, of course, will be needed repairs, though we do have the repair engineer set up there in a little corner of the map. Because you don't want your engineers getting shot at, now do you? And Rifleman weather for Noob. So that's going to be a full squad build here, very much expected. I'm guessing BARs. Rifleman base in the center. Of course, you could also just go for SSF commandos. In fact, part of me is a bit surprised he's not going for those. I mean, Johnsons and bazookas, you know, very flexible infantry squad that could do a lot of damage here to Xandr. So there's definitely a part of me that thinks, like, you know, just going for SSF commandos rather than full Thrive squad would make a lot more sense here for Noob. Xandr there's got the Semaventa 75-18 assault gun. Probably won't call it in. It would be cool if it did. More likely supposed to go for the M1340 Italian medium tank. Note that there'd also be an upgraded version of this with a 36mm gun, though that one would primarily be used by the German army. In fact, most of the later Italian armor would primarily end up being used by the Germans as they took over Italian arms industry and would just produce Italian equipment and use it in Italy primarily, though there are some units elsewhere that actually use Italian equipment as well. For example, there were some units in Normandy actually had Italian tanks. That was actually a Fallschirmjäger division, I believe. And police units will also be equipped with them. And some SS units. So, Italian armor definitely ended up in some fun places. You typically don't see, like, talked a lot about. But there go Graham with a counter shot here, going nuts on the Bessieri. Xandr feels like he's going to go for the M1340s here. The Italian mediums. Which is similar to the 75-18, also was an upgraded version with a higher velocity gun. Fun factor as well. But also similarly primarily used with the Germans. But anyways, Lordes here, we got BRs there for Noop, so no SSF commanders right away. Xandr, Panzerjägers there, definitely make a bit of a bad call here, and there you go, grenade on the way. Almost had it. Now we see here Noop and the 3rd Armored Division here. Baker Company making excellent progress in the 10th Panzer Division.
We have M1340 tanks in reserve.
There we go, Italian armor called in here. There we go, engaging the Greyhound here. Wipe on the Panzer Pioneer. Excellent work here for Noop can get a wipe, at least one more unit. That's going to be worth it. Panzerjäger's down as well here. Brutal. He's trying to go for the ambulance as well here. Of course, classic American. And he gets it. Noop living the American dream, knocking out an ambulance with his dying breath. M34 wing engaging the rifle, getting smeared with anti-tank grenades. Engine blown out. Crew absolutely miffed. But at least they got a place to cook their pasta. In the south there, Bezier pushing back the Ralph squad. He's going to need some Panzer Pioneer on top of a new ambulance. So that was a pretty aggressive push then. In the end, I mean, that Greyhound took out a lot there before it went down.
We shall have additional forces available shortly.
That went pretty well there for Noop, of course, to an extent, because now, of course, has to deal with an Italian tank, and he's got no anti-tank weapons, except, of course, snares. So it does require, you know, Xandr getting too close again. Going support elements here, guessing Stug Ds, though arguably I think you should just go for more Italian tanks. Be a bit cooler, but anyways, grabbing points here. Anti-tanks was Noop obviously aware that he's up against armor, so he needs some counters to it. Xandr not going for repairs there, or Panzer Pioneers. I mean, he needs that because there's no other way of repairing it, because the Italians can't. Absolutely can't. Mortar hanging back here.
300 points remaining. Say again.
297 versus 478. Could, of course, go for the Breda soon here. Would be a good move there for Xandr. Besides that, going, of course, for Panzer Pioneers. So far, Xandr just... I guess he might have gone for the self-repair upgrade then. Yeah. Maybe? Yeah, he has. Of course, also makes his Italian tanks a bit more tougher. That could also be why he went for that upgrade, because you also get access to that chain of upgrades there by that one. Point there being seized, and we got the Bredas unlocked. As for Noop, we're not really seeing much else out of him. Battle group wise. Tank crew, of course, quite dismayed. They have to just fix their tank on their own. Bit of quiet here, though. I mean, we can see the Noop advancing swiftly. I mean, he's got the advantage now. He's got heavily upgraded infantry. Well, most of the advantage. I mean, Xandr, of course, has the awesome might of the Italian M1340 tank, which at the start of the war would actually have been a pretty decent tank, but as the war went on, quickly stopped being that. And of course, there's the other bigger issue, which typically doesn't get talked about a lot, but the fact was just Italian tank crews were typically not very well trained. Anyways, rather than they're getting mauled by Italian troops and armor, almost got the unit there, close call. Rather than getting mauled, Bessier holding up the Ralph squad here. Another M1340 out here for Xandr and Deutschland. Far up north, Scott pushing for the point here. Quickly moving forward here. And we got Ralph squad up against the Italian tank, quickly escaping though through the back door. Clearly not willing to face the wrath of the Roman Empire here as Xandr's tanks are charging through here. Guns blazing and machine guns hazing. So with the Italian armor push here, Xandr stages a bit of a comeback. Nuke bring up more anti-tank guns. An additional little fun fact about the Italian tanks is actually about the machine guns they've mounted. They actually mounted double Bredas, which is actually a fairly rare thing for tank machines. It's just typically like one machine gun. For the Italians, they actually went for double light machine guns in the mounts. Little fun bit there. American surge here through the center. American force pushing forward. You can see there, Xandr's lines are buckling, giving way. One tank here that we spotted the anti-tank. It's going to get knocked out here. Yup. Xandr there slipping a bit there, costing him one of his tanks. Second tank needs to get out there fast. We've got another tank arriving here though for Xandr. And the 10th Panzer Division. Building there finally collapsing. Xandr's going to have to be a bit more smart about how his tanks with the double anti-tanks about there. There we go. Got lucky they'd missed. So Xandr's going to have to, like, I think, you know, try to just, you know, figure out the anti-tanks ahead of time, but also, like, you know, look to attack from angles that's going to be less obvious for the anti-tank to be prepared for. Otherwise, you just risk this M1340s, you know, just becoming another wreckage in the sand. He has managed to keep his bike alive, though, for this long, which is fairly impressive, considering everything. Especially considering it's significantly less armored than its Italian tanks. Noob here with the M4A1 Sherman Whizbang calling. Spicy choice there. Guessing he's not planning to take up anytime soon. And there you go. Got the Whizbang out, which was a fairly late war model upgrade there for the Sherman tank. Bit older than since, you know, I think coming after the Calliope, and basically just featured larger but fewer rockets compared to the Calliope.
Can we get back to work now?
Using the south point here.
M1340,
Another M1340 out here for Xandr. Punches that center we can see there. Noob is doing his best to keep Xandr off it. There you go. Bike behind with the entertainment, but there you go. Xandr there spotting the weak spot, at least on paper, but Noob had to reserve some place to deal with that. And in the center there you go. Bass area, forced to withdraw in the face of the massive shots here of the tank. The Whizbang, but there you go. Route score scores a wipe here on Noob. Anti-tankers were sort of at the ready, but not enough. A dashing raid here by Xandr, completely blindsiding Noob, of course. Having to line in tank guns has a lot of gaps that the tanks can easily exploit on a map like this. I mean, this been, you know, map like Toronto, this would a lot less effective for Xandr, but Road to Tunis is definitely a map for this kind of like light armor cavalry tactics. And the map design, or the base setup here for Noob actually makes it easy for Xandr to dive in and do heavy damage to Xandr. We might see one tank go down, but still, Xandr's done like immense damage here to Noob with this.
An Italian medium tank has been lost.
So many casualties inflicted upon Noob inside of his own base. Though, doesn't quite still match what that one Graham managed to achieve inside Xandr's base, but I imagine he was a bit inspired by it. But nice to see some very aggressive play there. But I do think Noob might at least want to consider some chaffies to help keep the M1340s at least a bit in check. Because the Xandr's now adapting to the anti-tank guns. Again, on a map like this, it becomes a bit harder for the anti-tanks just to keep things in check.
We have 5 command points available.
Again, had this been a more, you know, cramped map,
The enemy have claimed our sector.
this would have been a bit easier to make work. Whizbang there, trying for a knockout blow there. Surprised we haven't seen like the final ability, like say, you know, Pact of Steel or the artillery ability there. Particular Pact of Steel, like he's going to go for that. He could like save at least some resources by now on his Italian tanks. I do also think Xandr, at least at some point in the near future, may want to consider taking out there to bring out something besides just the Italian tanks.
Off-map battle
And he's going to strike the base again. Xandr there is ruthless, fearless. And Nuke responds to this with even more anti-tank guns. These northern points here. And there we go, we do get artillery cover here out of Xandr and the German army, finally able to bring up some guns to the front line. In this case, mixed batteries is, I mean, from the Germans' perspective, this is actually more of a late war thing. I mean, the Germans actually, you know, by late 1944 with the Volkswehr division, start organizing these Volksartillerie, which were basically based off the Soviet model of just as many barrels as you could, like, stick into a thing. Like, just, you know, fire mixed volley in a sense. Fun fact, by the way. So in that sense, like, in having various types of, like, artillery in, like, one ability, you know, it seems more like, you know, like a late war German thing, or a Soviet thing. Fun fact there. And there you go, a lot in here for Nope. Italian troops on the run, Italian tanks, not so much. And Xandr again getting ready to strike in the south here.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
Absolute cheek here. He might actually go here for the medic station, actually. At least I'd assume that's what he plans to go for. So again, Xandr is just being hyper aggressive. I'm liking it. 2 thumbs up. Of course, he has to be careful here. He should anticipate his opponent's going to move up here, or at least there, and then he has to, like, have an exit plan. But does Xandr have an exit plan for this? He's just willing to throw away the tank to take out a medic station. There we go. He's got it, and takes him up. He's going to try and escape past here. Yeah, this is definitely, in a sense, I can't understand why, but it also assumes his opponent wouldn't, like, try to sit up there. Here, the safe choice, but either, like, you know, trying to sneak up through here, or again, rushing through the base. Of course, that is putting him up. Obviously, rushing through the base would have been the bad choice, but that's kind of the thing. You always have to, like, try and, you know, figure out what your opponent's next move will be. We got Nuke that he's taking up here, going for the tank depot, probably realizing he can't rely on anti-tank guns forever. So not with the way that Xandr just keeps needling him. I will say that tank for medic station, not a great trade-off there. Quite the opposite. That was a bit of a bad trade there for Xandr. Honestly, it was a great one for the Americans.
We have 200 points remaining. Proximity alarm near our victory
Ravne
point.
charging at the M1314 south to go for the victory point here. North here, whiz-bang on the job. Italian Bessie area being ripped apart here with the whiz-bang.
We have lost control over victory point. Utility vehicle standing by.
Got the southern point here. Slowly cease for democracy. Got the bases swinging, we got the Bredas. We also got a lot of munitions here for Xandr. I'm guessing he really wants to, like, you know, wait for the right time to pop the artillery cover here against Nuke. Just going for a 4th anti-tank gun. Good God. Tanks can swing in here. I think Xandr might be hoping to basically blindside the anti-tank guns. Yeah.
All batteries on alert. Fire at will.
I mean, this is honestly fairly sensible what he's doing, if a bit risky. Holy smokes. Infantry, anti-tanks, they're getting cleared. Lost the Bessier squad, but I mean, getting rid of 2 of his opponent's anti-tank guns is pretty big, but he still should be careful with his infantry. He's going for the final anti-tank here as well. He's going for... Well, not final, there's another one about it. But he's really going for a knockout blow here on Nuke. Absolute balls to the walls aggression. I mean... If Xandr's a married man, I'm pretty sure his wife is pretty upset with him right now, having to clean up the walls after him. Gun anti-tank crew here, tanks being blasted. Got the whiz-bang. Needs to make sure that Nuke doesn't get those anti-tank guns back here. Absolute crazy action, though. But yeah, he was... Like, again, he's very good at using the tank's mobility to try and strike the anti-tank guns from angles where they're not expecting it, using the mobility to force the anti-tank to constantly position. So, 2 thumbs up in Xandr. Still, he's... definitely being a bit awfully risky at times with this. But you gotta take some risks as well, so, you know, it's a bit of a tough balancing act. I'm not gonna pretend it's easy. But he needs to get rid of these anti-tank guns. He can't let Nuke get them back. He needs to grab them himself, so he needs to destroy them.
We have vehicles available in reserve.
One from the cold dead here. Nope. Just looking at the ashes of what is left of his force there. Got the tank hiding up here in the corner. I'd probably just push it further up here just to be safe.
The victory point is being taken from us.
Has he forgotten about the anti-tank guns here? I think he has. That could bite Xandr in the arse, unless Noob has also forgotten about it.
What will it be, Commandante?
Enemy forces have captured a victory point. Artillery batteries are on standby. They request orders.
Bit of quiet here, as both sides are kind of recuperating after that massive engagement. And there we go, Noob with the US Air Force there, striking at the Italians here, easily bunched up and without anti-aircraft support here. No flak feelings, no flak 36s, nothing, nada, zilch. Zip, and there you go, spotted the tank here, anti-tank's moving for it. Xandr there, of course, nice to try and save it, but again, the anti-tanks are exposed here on the flank, and Xandr just dives in on it. Even calling an artillery cover here, Xandr is ruthless once he smells weakness. There you go, striking in from several sides here. Beautiful play here by Xandr. Beautiful. 2 thumbs up. Rifleman, scouts, he's just getting mauled out in the open here. And with that, Noob has lost all of his anti-tank guns. Xandr is certainly proving why you should be careful about overcommitting to anti-tank guns on a map like this. I mean, again, had it been like, you know, more, you know, narrow bottleneck map, this could have worked out fairly well. No argument. But this isn't that. This is a very open map. And of course, meaning an opponent like Xandr making use of a lot of, like, you know, lighter tanks that are able to, like, you know, move about quite aggressively can do a lot of damage to you. Of course, here again we see we've covered at least some of the anti-tanks because, you know, Xandr forgot about them. Noob did not. This would be the moment in the Hollywood movie that's like, Sir, we found some abandoned anti-tank guns the Germans forgot to destroy. Yes, now we shall stage your heroic comeback starring Tom Hanks and Brad Pitt. Really, Brad Pitt? Nah, we had to make do with, one of the Hemsworth brothers. At least Chris. No, the other one. Damn it. Up north, that point being grabbed. M1340's on the move. Italian troop there, and he actually got cancer shots on his Sherman. That's a wipe. And we got Xandr going for the Marder, not the Simaventa. Shame. Anti-tanks ready here, dealing with the flanking tanks here again. The tanks prove a bit more problem. There goes Snares as well. We could see Xandr's armored force here suffering some discombobulations here in the face of the Sherman anti-tanks here, combined with some infantry still. Xandr's diving in, the armor pitching around to the tanks here. Got one of the Italian tanks. Might see the Sherman that get knocked out. Oh no, shot pounds. Can the anti-tankers finish it off here? No, they didn't finish it off. That said, Xandr's lost most of his infantry. Now just one squad of Bessieri. Suffice to say, I don't think he's going to be winning any medals from Mussolini. Got another Bessieri squad out though, and we got the Marder 3 there ready. What an absolutely brutal battle. This is honest again, but just having some SSF commanders might have been a bit more useful for Noob than the anti-tank guns. Again, bazookas, a bit more mobility to also push against the infantry. Probably should have gone for a mix of them. Part because, again, the commanders were able to cover the flanks of the anti-tank guns as the tanks went swooping in. So this has definitely been one of the most fun CoH3 matches I've seen in a while. Here's a 2 thumbs up. Another Shaman here for Noob. See if we can't keep that one a bit alive for longer. Meanwhile, Xandr, he's reorganizing.
We have lost control of a victory point.
Got the Marder feeder ready. Mounting a converted Soviet anti-tank gun, which the Germans would designate as the PaK-36I, would be converted using German PaK-40 ammunition. And in fact would be so devastating once the Italian or the British encountered it in North Africa, they actually thought the Germans managed to mount the Flak 88 on a, like, you know, self-propelled mount. So, little fun note there. Anyways, another Italian tank out here for Xandr. He's definitely riding high on those Italian self-propelled coffins, as I've seen them referred to. And there you go, double anti-tank. It's no grenades here from Noob, though. Very lucky there. They'll force Xandr again. Can't shot here. That's a wipe here. Marder fires. And the Italians get absolutely turned into pastrami there, and then some. Meanwhile, tanks again going for the flank. Diving in, they're utilizing speed and aggression to outmaneuver the anti-tank guns. Avanti Savoia clearly there on Xandr's lips, if he knows how to pronounce it. Anyways, Marder diving in. Basic mistake here by Xandr. Lost here. That's a good kill there for Noob. M34, though, diving in, causing more damage here to Noob. 158 versus 117. Tank striking for the side, catching one the anti-tank crews and wiping it out here. Bravo holding in the center, and we got to recover against the anti-tank and here close to the center. And the crew just vanishes beneath a cascade of artillery shells. Utter carnage continues to rule in this unrelentingly brutal match. But the sands are littered with countless burning tanks.
We have Italian infantry arriving at the front.
More busy out there for Xandr, of course, not explaining to the previous ones what happened. Which I think is a very smart tactic. More anti-tanks calling in for Noob. Do get an attempt to just cover the other anti-tank with a smoke screen, just desperately hoping the Germans and Italians possess incredibly bad object permanence. But that might be asking a bit too much there. There we go. Mario there, get blown to bits here by a mortar round. Trying to get his hands on that mortar, there we go. It's a tank gun, that's not a mortar. Unless you have a very loose definition of mortar. And there we go, we could see Xandr lose another M1340, and he does lose it. Another ball of fire there bursts into the hot sun, under the hot sun there of North Africa. And we got another martyr there for Xandr. We got 149 versus 88.
We have infantry available in reserve, Commandant.
I mean, I have to say, I'm really impressed with the way that Xandr, for the most part, is actually able to, like, manage all of these tanks.
75 points remain.
And the way he's just able to, like, weave them in there from various angles. I think most players just, you know, form up a blob and just charge in, but Xandr's, like, quite good at, like, avoiding that. And again, that makes it much harder for the anti-tank to deal with them, because suddenly, like, you know, he might be pointing at one tank, but then suddenly, like, two other more tanks comes in from another angle. That's, like, overall very tactically solid play there, and makes it much harder again for Noob just to rely on these anti-tank gun walls. Like, he has to be much smarter in his positioning of them, and, well, that's clearly not happening. And of course, another Italian squad, they're about to, go to heaven in pieces. I mean, they'll have to glue them together up there, or in hell, depending on where they go, but a lot of glue will be needed. So a bit of quiet here again, as Xandr, of course, is once more looking for the most optimal angle to attack Noob from here. As of course, Noob is just looking for as many Italians to turn into, well, as many pieces as possible. Marder, they're striking at the Sherman. Noob there is quickly able to withdraw his tank. He will need to repair it, and he will also probably need some more tanks soon. As for Xandr, well, he just needs to stop losing entire squads like that. possible. Which admittedly with the Sherman with the cancer shots might be a bit easier said than done. Anthony's there spotting another anti-tank almost knocking out here. Again, attacking from both sides, even like the anti-tank's push from one side. Xandr sneaks up and hits from another side. 2 thumbs up to Xandr. Solid play. And Sherman, they're just receiving repairs. 47 points left here for Nuke versus Sanders. 133. Got fierce fighting here for the southern point. American forces trying to make their forts, but an 8 Italian crew there. Heroes of Rome halt the advance. We got another Sherman for Noob. He's going to have more than 2 tanks, more than 1 tank at the same time. And we got another M1340 up for Xandr and the German Reich. German coming in, swinging their cancer shots being unleashed here. Heavy cover is sparing the Italians some absolutely catastrophic damage, but even that clearly has its limits. And there's another unit that will need some assembly there once they pass into the beyond. Sorry about that. $130 versus 34 here. There's the area versus the advancing right and closing in on that point here in the name of freedom. Another Sherman's heading out. Sitting up the southern side of the Italian tank. Surprised he hasn't researched like the ability for the tanks to capture points, but then again, he's just losing so many squads, he's probably just not thought about it. There you go, tanks going for the flank again. Xandr sensing opportunity, even as his Marder and his Italian troops just getting annihilated. Artillery cover called in on all of the assembly entertainments here. Guns blazing, crews trying not to melt as they just have all the guns blazing there. Snares going off here. Almost got the anti-tankers here. They're being split up. They're being herded around.
An Italian medium tank has been lost.
Almost got the anti-tankers here. There we go. Sherman's also in trouble. But so are the Italian tanks. In fact, everyone's kind of in trouble here. Another Italian tank down. And Xandr has nothing to capture points with at the moment. All of his infantry, you know, in pieces. Oh, goodness.
A fuel point is being taken from us. Confirmed. We have 100 points remaining.
This has got to be absolutely one of the most spectacularly bloody matches in a long time. 83 versus 34. And I think with that, Xandr might just be out. There we go, GG, well played. Holy smokes, that was really close though. That was immensely close here.
The day is lost.
I mean, the cancer shots, they can see there's an absolute number there in Xandr's infantry, but I think had he just been able to keep his infantry a bit better alive, and also he just crucially removed these 2 anti-tanks here, I think Nuke would have been in a much worse position. Like him being able to get those anti-tanks back, I think really helped, you know, stabilize a bit for Nuke there. But our way there, fantastic match. 2 thumbs up. Beautiful play on both sides there. So I hope you enjoyed as much as I did casting. This is Imperial Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye everyone.